Hey everyone, Techni here with the review of the newly released SteelSeries Rival 3 gaming mouse. And this mouse comes in at only $30. And we're gonna find out, is it worth that $30? So first off, I wanna talk about the dimensions and the weight and actually using it, getting it in my hands and playing with it.
Enemy cruise missile incoming. We're losing control. UAV ready. Look up. Cluster strike ready. This is Builder 2-0. Good score.
So I played fairly decent with it right here. I'm more of a palm gripper or a claw to palm gripper pretty much all the time right there. Now this one right here pretty much forced me to go into fingertip quite a bit. Sometimes I can bring it into that claw right there, but it barely catches into the back of my palm. So again, the majority of the time I did claw this mouse. So right off the bat right there, I would recommend this mouse for small to medium hands unless you have larger hands and you really prefer that fingertip grip right there, because again, that's pretty much what it always threw me into. And let me tell you, my whole time using this mouse, what kept on coming back into my head right here is the Cooler Master MM710 or 711 right there. Because again, I don't use many fingertip mice right there, and that's pretty much primarily what that mouse was right there. And that's just what this really, as far as play style and testing, I know the dimensions are a little bit different and everything, but as far as the hump location on this guy and everything, it felt very, very similar to that mouse right there. Again, primarily claw and fingertip. Now another great example that might be a little bit better for you guys, a lot of you might have tried out, is the SteelSeries Rival 110 right here. This is pretty much a spit-in image of it, an updated version. So if you ever had this in your hands, you can kind of relate to this very well here. Now also talking about dimensions and actually getting in my hands right here, there's some really cool design things within this mouse, which I think SteelSeries does in a lot of their mice. Number one is a scroll wheel. Check how nice and low recessed that is right there. Really nice. You just in a moment, bam, right up on top of the scroll. You don't gotta lift your finger up or anything. I love it. It's almost just like, again, a nice low button right in there in between 1 and 2. Absolutely perfect. Now also speaking about that scroll wheel right there being nice, low, and recessed, as you can see, mouse 1 and 2, they kind of arch up right there, get its own little platform going right to the back to that DPI button. Now, as you all know, if you've seen any of my other videos, I use my scroll wheel a lot. Again, playing a lot of Call of Duty, dropping claymores and whatnot. But whenever I get onto that scroll wheel, sometimes my fingers just kind of rest on it right there, your finger does go bam right on top of that DPI button, and you feel it. I never actuated the DPI button, but again, I do feel it on my finger right on the back right here, and it was a little weird at first. Also on mouse 1 and 2 right up here, and I don't think the camera is going to be able to catch this. I did not clean this mouse. I've been using the heck out of it, and again, I just left it as is, fingerprints and everything on it, which by the way, it does pick up a few fingerprints. But anyways, I left it all grimy and everything on here, so hopefully you guys can see it. But mouse 1 and 2, they come down right here, and then they just slope down. Like you got finger grooves right at the very tippy top up here. Like down here, it's just kind of rounded, and then down here, it kind of swoops in. But the best way I can explain it, when I get my hand on the mouse right here, my fingers will rest right on the top, and then bam, right there, they slope down and get right into the grooves. That was very weird at first. Definitely the first time I've ever felt something like that, you know what I mean? So it was kind of weird. I'm like, my finger's supposed to be resting, or should it be up here like this, you know what I mean? But after a while, you get used to it, it's like, wow, this is really cool, and it fits fantastic. Now, one other thing about the buttons right here, these side buttons, they're tiny, as you can see right here. But let me tell you what, you can really decipher them. There's a little tiny gap right in the middle right there, so I can always decipher. I'm never mispressed them or anything. I always knew which one I was pressing. And they are tiny, but again, they're right there for your thumb. They almost like lift up with your thumb because they kind of arch out a little bit right there. I honestly love them. They're tiny, I can decipher them, very clicky and right to the point. But one thing about them, as you can see, they kind of come out fairly sharp right there on the edge. And again, after my play session for quite a while, using my side buttons and everything, they almost started just kind of poking into my hand. Again, I use mine all the stinking time to like slide and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So a little sharpness on the edge, yeah, it did get a little bit annoying in my thumb after a while, but again, nothing deal breaking. Alright, so now that we talked about all the buttons and kind of the layout, I want to really focus on the build right here. Again, I want you to remember, this mouse is coming in at $30. Straight up MSRP, $30. And let me tell you what, at 30 bucks, this Rival 3 mouse right here is built like an absolute tank. I know so many people out there are gonna call me a SteelSeries fanboy or whatnot because I always praise their products, but you get this thing in your hand and compare it to some of the other mice we reviewed, some of the $50 mice, you all know what I'm talking about. But anyways, this Rival 3 right here, no cranking, no creaking, no flexing, absolutely incredibly solid. Again, at only 30 bucks. Now talking about the fantastic solid build we have right there, right? This mouse comes in at only 77 grams. Like, what's next? What's next is the incredibly awesome RGB on this mouse right here. As you can see, I have it on color mode or flow right now, and it's kind of fading right from the back to the front. In the software, you can do a steady. There's really not many as far as effects you can do for the RGB right there. I believe there's only 4 from steady, and then again, the flow and all that stuff right there. You can pick your custom color and everything, but yeah, the software is limited right now. The RGB is absolutely crisp, fantastic crisp, but again, I do think the software needs a little bit tuning. Now let's dive a little bit more into performance here. Underneath the mouse, we're using the True Move Core sensor. I'm not too sure what the core actually kind of relates to right there. I've used True Move, the True Move Plus and everything, and again, it's True Move Core. They all have worked fantastic. They're all spot on. Again, talking sensors in any mice these days, it's kind of like, I mean, it's 1 in a million that you're gonna have a bad one. All the mice I have tested across the board, I've had 1 bad sensor in a mouse. That is it. And again, going back to this one right here, spot on. Now I'm gonna show you this next thing underneath the mouse right here. And I don't know if they meant to do this, but maybe it's just me catching it, and I think it is super cool. SteelSeries, if you're out there, let me know if you meant to do this right here. Check out this smiley face on the bottom of the mouse, right? We have 2 mouse feet right up here with the eyes, sensor nose, and then you have the big smile right there. Like, that has to have been done on purpose. And let me tell you what, with the combination of a nice rubber cable, you all know I love rubber cables over braided cables. They don't catch on the end of your mouse pad right there or anything, or get that real scrapey sound. They just flow across your mouse pad. I pretty much use a mouse bungee for all of mine, which I recommend you with this one as well. But still, any bit that drops down onto your mouse pad, it's just gonna flow across it and not drag and scratch like a braided cable. And also your cable comes out plenty far right there, so you don't get that initial drag from directly out of the mouse. But with those feet in the cable right there, I mean, this mouse just glides across right here. I'm using the SteelSeries QCK, is that what they're called? QCK mouse pad right here. And this thing is just butter. I mean, you don't hear any scraping, scratching, or grinding right down there. Super stinking smooth. So with our final conclusion right here, let's just combine everything we went over, right? Starting at 30 bucks, right? Going right into the build, then going into the features with the RGB and everything like that, with the nice cable and all that, the feet underneath, the smiley face, like, come on, that makes the sale just worth it right there, you know what I mean? But again, let's just pile all that in right there at 30 bucks. Wow, an absolute complete win. And I honestly think that's kind of the platform they're building off right here. Like, hey, check this out, what we can offer for 30 bucks at 77 grams. I mean, what the heck can they offer at 50 bucks? I can't wait to find out. I know everyone out there, like I stated before, is gonna be calling me a SteelSeries fanboy, and I'm just praising this. SteelSeries didn't send me this right here to review. Heck, SteelSeries hasn't sent me anything to review. SteelSeries, it sure would be nice if you sent me something to review already. But hey, thank you so much for stopping by watching this video right here. I hope I was able to help you out, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for some future tech videos. Hey, I hope I catch you in the next one. Bye now.